All right, fall finale time. Hey, everybody. Welcome to A Million Little Podcast. I am Kevin McCaffrey. I'm here with Jamie.
Hi.
And we're also here, first time in a few weeks, live like this. We're here from Chicago with Dave Miller. What up, Dave?
Woo.
What's going on, guys? Great to be back. Of course, now we're on hiatus for 2 months, but it's great to be back.
Yeah, we're getting our rhythm back just as we head into the All-Star break. I think Gary and Maggie are both on the All-Star team. I'm putting them in after today's matchup. Follow us on Instagram at A Million Little Podcast and on Twitter at A Million Podcast. And Dave, what's the beverage you're drinking today?
I'm actually going with tea. I thought about hot toddy, but I'm going with tea.
I'm only not doing a hot toddy because we have no whiskey in the house. I'm doing tea also. I got a cough. I'm trying to not cough at you people.
I'm doing vodka soda because I'm a fucking problem, and I haven't gone a full day without a drink in quite a long time. It's been a while. It's not going to start today. I have to be in Buffalo this weekend doing stand-up. I'm in Buffalo Friday, Saturday, Pittsburgh on Sunday, going out with a bang. Speaking of going out with a bang, how about
what did you say, Dave? That you texted?
Oh, Dave texted me. We were 20 minutes behind because I was doing a stand-up show for people and a bunch of dogs today in Brooklyn, which was wonderful. It was a dog-friendly show. It's great, actually. But so we were 20 minutes behind Dave, and Dave, you texted me what?
I said this show is sick.
So good.
I really just want to watch these shows. It's less convenient, but I do want to watch these shows on delay so I can just get out of context Dave one sentence things to sort of update me.
We probably had like 20 minutes in the show left when we just got this show is sick. Like, oh no, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Dave, what was there one thing that happened that made you say this show is sick?
It was basically the faux suicide scene. No, I didn't mean that not to poke fun at suicide, but it's just too much. At what point are they going to? At what point is DJ Nash going to stop with it?
Can DJ Nash be stopped? I do want to say that DJ Nash apparently, obviously, we enjoy the creation he's made here for us. He is soon going to be a hated rival because he's starting a podcast for the show.
No.
Yep, he's coming out with his own. Is it going to be as good as this, though?
You son of a gun.
So, honestly,
Shoot, we got to book Danny now.
I know. So, we got to book Danny before he's on an exclusivity agreement with DJ Nash. So, we will message Danny this weekend and see if we can get him on here, since he hasn't been on the show in a few weeks.
I know.
Right?
I mean, yeah, we can just start right off with that. I'm sorry. It's the friggin' mid-season finale, and I get Danny for 2 seconds in a slow-mo montage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not ideal.
Fuck everybody. I mean, again, I was like, wow, gonna be a PJ-heavy episode, huh? But it is the finale. We're gonna get a couple lines out of Danny. No. No, we don't.
Hopefully it's because Danny's doing very well otherwise. I mean, chances, the actor who plays Danny. But, yeah. So I thought it
was pretty good overall, but that was the weak point.
Yeah, I thought this episode had some great stuff, and I guess we can, throughout talking about this episode, we can also talk about the first half of the season, sort of, since it is the fall finale.
Our first that I remember mature subject matter warning.
I know.
My first thought, of course, was, are we going to get a butt? But no, it was suicide.
Yeah.
I should have guessed.
Which is a little weird. Dave, did you catch the warning?
I did. I wrote down first time mature subject matter, and I always write down who's the narrator. Sometimes it's hard to tell the voice. The voice was PJ's, correct? It's usually the voice of someone intricate to that episode. I thought it was PJ. It's just sometimes hard to decipher.
I think so.
That's a good call.
I forget now, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Right. It would make sense if it was, and I did miss that on this one. I didn't miss that it contains mature subject matter disclaimer, also because I think DJ Nash tweeted it. As like a, hold on to your butts, basically, thing.
I wish it was butts.
I know, hold on to your not butts. It's weird. I wonder what made them have to do contains mature subject matter when I guess suicide was... It's weird, because it was threatened, I guess, but it wasn't terrible. It was also largely implied. Also, the show it's the friggin' premise is suicide. So
Well, I was going to say, maybe because they were on the edge, but we've seen people on the edge of buildings for several episodes.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
They flash back to John jumping all the time with no warning.
And it's also other people have, right? Didn't someone else step up to where John was at one point? Christina Ochoa.
Oh, and Rome. Rome was like fantasizing about jumping off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Roman his pill. So it's interesting why they made him do that. I also noticed just as I was scrolling through Twitter stuff in the a million little Twitterverse, I basically I've noticed that a lot of people who love the show will tweet at DJ Nash after he does anything, and it's basically a version of an emotional "hurt me, daddy." Everyone is just there's so many people who are just like, "Oh, what
king.
are you?" Yeah, yeah, wreck me, king. Emotionally, it's a lot of just like, oh, you're gonna mess with our emotions, aren't you? Do it. It's just like it's basically emotional dirty talk.
Oh my God.
On Twitter, which is it's a funny thing.
Midwest mom porn.
Hell yeah. Midwest mom porn. We can get down with
Someone
that.
I love gonna die tonight, DJ.
I can't wait to call my kid about it.
Am I gonna feel something
Wonderful.
in my heart?
So I saw that. I'll throw out, and speaking of, I guess, Midwest mom porn, I guess just makes me think of this hitting our age group exactly right, which takes me to the songs of this episode. We had
last one especially.
The first one was a little bit ahead of our time, Against All Odds, Phil Collins, which I did think was a weird choice for the faux suicide scene. But then Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
And ponying up the rights for the original.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a big one. That was like, oh, shoot, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that is the one that's from the Angels movie, right?
Yeah, City of Angels, is it? Or
maybe?
something like that?
Sounds right.
It's Nick Cage and Meg Ryan, right?
Right.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Sure have. Spoiler alert,
Spoiler,
guys.
Dave, have you seen it?
I haven't seen a ton of movies. It's weird.
Dave's he's too busy watching network television.
Well, I'll tell you what. That song is in the background for another montage for, like, just one of the most, like, pointlessly tragic things to happen in, like, a 90s movie.
I talked about it to someone last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's so, like, stupidly tragic that it's almost, like, you don't feel it almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those where you, like, it's almost comical, because it's like, how is this how you're ending this movie?
Basically, if you don't
Screw you.
skip forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear the end of this Nick Cage Meg Ryan 90s
I wasn't
movie.
gonna ruin. I guess Dave's probably not going to watch it.
I'm going to. Dave can earmuffs if he wants. Basically, Nick Cage decides to not be an angel anymore so he can be on Earth and be with Meg Ryan. And Meg Ryan's like, that's great. And she's blissfully riding her bike and gets hit by a car and dies. And then Nick Cage can't be an angel anymore. She's dead and he just has to live without her. It's like the worst. How did this get greenlit? Anyway, welcome back.
It's ridiculous, but it's that song, so it's like, maybe, so in my head it was just like, oh, good, stupidly tragic stuff. Like,
right.
That's where your head goes.
And they didn't go stupidly tragic.
No.
So that's
and I
good.
didn't think that they would. But.
Dave, where would you like to start? What emotionally, where do you want to go first?
Well, I think this might make sense. I was going to start with the Gary stuff and specifically Maggie finding the ring. And I'm just going to say, I feel like at that point, no matter what, you're either getting engaged in that moment or the next few days, or you're breaking up. Like, there's really no other option.
Right.
I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I've sort of anecdotally heard of people talking through an engagement, not being ready yet, and then getting to it. But I think that's right. I think what you're saying is mostly right. What do you say, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, it's there could have been a discussion. There could have been more of a discussion. I thought it was going to be more on Gary for a second there when he's like, oh, that was from before when you were sick. And I thought it was going to be like, oh, so you just thought I'll propose to this dying girl because what are the stakes to that? But then it went the other way where she's like, oh, thank God.
Right.
And he's just like, so then no.
So that's a no.
So then that's a no to that proposal. She's like, well, And then saying, like, oh, so you said you wanted to spend your life with me. Was that because you only thought that would be like 6 months or something? And she's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, fuck, Maggie. Whoa. And it is. And I mean, it came out at the end where it's like, I think I get everybody's side on this one.
I'm hugely in favor of all the Gary stuff this episode.
Gary we finally like push the release button on all the Gary shit all season of just like, hi guys, do you realize that he's the best person in your whole group and all he does is try and fix your stupid lives, and he finally gets a fun monologue. Not fun for me.
Yeah, no, him talking,
satisfying monologue where he tells everybody that shit in case they forgot.
Yeah, him talking about all the talking about everything he did throughout the year. It wasn't braggy, but talking about everything he did for everybody, going around in his relationship with everybody. It's nice. I think it's a...
He told them for their own good.
I think it's a comforting thing when you realize the show is seeing the show that you're seeing. Uh-huh. When they know what's going on with these people, and you think, oh, good. Well, A Million Little Things understands what Gary's deal is. That's nice because shows don't always know that. Mm-hmm. And he is the fixer basically, and then he also admits that he lost his job that way. So that's one of the two Gary things I liked a lot there.
Yeah, and the intervention, I call it. He's like, what about my family? And I get it. He really doesn't have family besides that. And then also after he mentions he lost his job, I cannot get another family. I can get another job. So yeah, he had some great lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, help. I mean, we mentioned it last week because they sort of previewed it. But yeah, like I spent so much time helping everyone through cancer and depression and divorce that I lost my job. And then pointing out individually to everybody what he had done for them in the past 8 months or so.
Right, which not only should make them grateful for Gary, but in many cases it should make them realize, oh yeah, I was a piece of shit sometimes. I needed the help from this guy and I didn't really appreciate it.
Yes. And we're here being whiny bitches.
Yeah, really whiny.
Mainly Delilah, but also everyone else.
Yeah, Delilah's kind of queen, whiny bitch through a lot. Delilah, I wrote down that basically, I was like, pretty cocky for one of the two main ones who fucked up. I thought, like, she goes into everything being like, oh, so are you talking shit about me?
Yeah,
it's like,
seems a lot of people are talking behind my back.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no shit. You had a baby from an affair. You think there's like an 8-month like time limit on when you can talk about that?
Right.
Nah, son.
No, that sticks around because the kids do too. Yeah, so I wrote that, and this is unimportant, so I'll just throw it out at the beginning. She gives PJ basically John's broken watch.
Oh, I wrote that down. I'm sure Danny didn't want that or anything. So
I know.
Cool, right. Delilah.
Danny, who's actually his kid,
who's walking around with his driver's license in his pocket. It's like, oh, I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted an actual watch that he can like wear and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like.
Yeah.
Delilah, what the hell?
But the broken watch ties in with the title, which is Time Stands Still, was the title of this episode.
Yeah.
But back to... Go ahead.
Nice catch.
Thank you very much, Dave. But anyway, back to Gary, Dave. What else you got on Gary?
Well, at the end, I put down Bad Gary because I feel like, I mean... You know what? Good for him, though, at the same time. Like, I feel like he built up so much, like, so many points with us. Like, he's been the good guy. And then to take that girl home. But at the same time, can't blame the guy. But I just wrote down a revert back to Bad Gary.
Yeah, a revert back to...
oh, yeah, finally. Gary fucks again.
Gary has not fucked in a while, to be honest. TBQH. Gary Fox was a thing in so many episodes.
And he was fine with Gary not fucking.
He was okay with it for a while.
If it was for the right reasons, he's working stuff out. But now, he's like, if it's got to be like this, if you're throwing my ring away, guess what? You leave Gary Fox.
You leave Gary Fox. If I wasn't going with a very basic episode title for this, A Million Little fall finales, it would be You Leave Gary Fox. I think that makes a lot of sense that Gary goes out to a bar. Also, good Gary game, just sits down at a bar and women approach him, which, by the way, I should say does actually happen to me too, but it is because I think I'm just in bars by myself a lot because I'm a stand-up on the road, and I think when you're in a bar by yourself, I think people think you're waiting to be approached.
Right.
It's so great, Kevin. I'm telling you, that's why I go out by myself half the time.
Oh, it's great. And I feel like, Dave, you're good by yourself at the bar because you're not a problem for anyone. You're open to talk, but you're not weaseling on anybody. You prefer anyone else making the first move.
Sure, and then I take it from there.
Yeah.
You make the first move, I'll take care 99% of everything.
100%. So Gary does that. But I do think my favorite... I wrote down a couple big, good storylines, I thought, and then bad ones, which is more of not this episode, but for the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. So I do want to lean into the good because basically I hate Maggie's connection to her fake brother. I thought that sucked ass, and I didn't buy any PJ shit the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
So I hated...
Eric is sort of the new Ashley, where it's like everything's like a family friend drama, and then it's like also Eric might be shady.
Oh, right, because they do. Yeah, that is
okay.
Right. That wasn't Ashley T's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would always be everything, and then Ashley would be like, going to a secret apartment and doing secret tapes and calling secret people, and everyone else is just like, oh man, guys, we got to get this birthday party together.
Right, it's two different shows.
Yeah, the kiss with John. Remember the door closed?
And the door closed? That was hot. We got to get Ashley back on this show. I do remember, guys, do you remember our first episode last year? That was so fun. Dave and I were in Chicago, and you were here, and we were broadcasting that way. I had this whole sound set up in Chicago. Yeah, but I remember we had a note. Everyone had a note immediately where it's like, Ashley's too hot. Something's up with that. Which, god dang, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to be a performer in your life where you went on a TV show and someone's like, too hot, something's bad.
Yeah, nice try, guys. This is not a normal.
Holler at us, Christina Ochoa. Dave's putting over your Instagram all the time.
Yeah, should at least put her in glasses or something.
Yeah. I'm a worker now.
Look at me.
So I wrote that I hated those two things this whole season, the connection to, and just that, both just hanger around characters that I don't understand why they're connected.
And it's like, PJ's sort of like came in almost the same way that not even the same way that Maggie did. But Maggie's one where it's like, she shows up, she's immediately best friends with everyone, but you get over it because Maggie makes sense.
Yes.
So it's like, that's fine. PJ is the same thing, except you don't get over it because why is Rome best friends with a teenager?
It's weird the whole way through. And
why does he treat him like an equal?
Yeah, I think it's weird the whole way through. We'll get into that more later, but I brought up that specifically to say I want to lean into the things I think are good, because I think there are a couple of really extremely well done things here. I think they do like complicated, mature, gray area, but real romantic relationships very well. I think Eddie Catherine is an interesting relationship. I could nitpick and say I think Catherine's like a little too into it, and just like no regrets at this point. But I do think they've told that story pretty well in a nuanced way.
And I think you believe once she makes the decision she's in it, that it's like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, and Catherine's just a fantastic character and a really good actress, too. But I think Maggie and Gary's storyline I thought was extremely good.
Yeah.
I thought it was I thought it was good to the point where, I don't want to, I enjoy this show, but I was like, this could have been from a different show, is what I thought. Like, this could have been
This is so good, it could have been on something else.
Well, I was like, this is almost Friday Night Lightsy, kind of, which is just...
It is.
Friday Night Lights is my favorite show of all time. So this isn't an insult to the rest of A Million Little Things. This is just, like, Friday Night Lights is my favorite drama of all time. And what I loved is that they did small stories extremely well.
Exactly. And that's why it's such a weird thing when they jump to the mystery stuff. It's like, no, we can just do that. It is really good. And they could have just sat back and let them be happy and fun together, but no. Yeah.
And I thought that basically this run where Gary, where they go from, you know, fun and playful to the ring thing, and then Gary sees her reaction to it, and that changes how he feels about everything. But it doesn't really change everything, because he's been feeling this, and he's been trying to ignore that he feels it and paper over the problem. And he basically goes around to I'm trying to see what I wrote down. Like, he's been waiting for her to feel about them like she did when she was sick.
I wrote that down.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Right, after he says that maybe I need to figure out who I am without you, he says, I want you to want us the way you used to, but you don't, so go.
That's exactly it.
That's, I wrote, take good notes. Gary is cold as ice.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think that's an extremely layered and realistic feeling.
Yeah.
And I thought they did that extremely well, because
it was rough and good.
Rough, good. It's also a thing where neither of these people are bad. No one did anything. Yeah. No one did anything bad, and their relationship is falling apart. And it's not just like happy ending shit. It's an example of two people can do basically everything right and still doesn't work. And I thought it's heartbreaking, but I thought that was extremely well done.
Yeah.
And I've been learning that, like, throughout adulthood. It's like, you know how, like, when you were in your 20s and, you know, say you go out with someone for a few months and it doesn't work out and, like, the world's going to end. Now it's like, I just think that's how it is as you progressively get older, you know? I mean... Yeah,
well, it's a thing, basically a sex and relationship podcaster, advice columnist Dan Savage, who started in Chicago I don't know if he started in Chicago, but he's in Chicago a long time now, based out of Seattle. But the Savage Love podcast is a good one. And one thing he talks about all the time is that, like... It is unfortunate, and it's wrong to think that the only successful relationships end in death, basically. That, like, you can have a successful relationship that ends, but it was successful. And I think that's the case with these two people, where they met at a certain time, they were genuine the whole time, and he got her through something, and she made Gary better too. She brought better things out of Gary, because when Gary met her, he was Gary who fucks at the cancer group, support group, basically. And so they made each other better, but they might not be a fit anymore, and that's no one's fault. They were in love. They loved each other.
Their lives changed significantly, both of them.
And they just grew apart. And that is, and I think I think the right ending for these two is that they're not together. But yeah, you guys weigh in.
How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because she didn't get the fellowship. I mean,
right? That's a news break.
I'm not a subscriber to the theory of time apart is necessary, but maybe that's what it is. She can find herself, and he maybe does need to find himself post Maggie, and maybe 6 months from now or a year from now they come back together.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that they are not together for a bit, because there's clearly, she was too into Eric for a while, which, I mean, being into Eric for a minute when she's freaking out and the brother stuff, like, I get, but you could tell she still wanted to hang out with Eric, but wasn't, because it made Gary upset.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but she still wanted to.
Which is still weird.
And now it's like, well, now she's got time to figure that shit out. And, and they can both figure their stuff out, I guess. Yeah, it makes sense, but it's...
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because in the scene, in one of the previews, we see Gary grab Eric. So I don't know if that's the first episode out of the gates, but yeah, they do connect at some point.
Yeah.
Eric's got a secret. They teased it.
Yeah, during the Iris montage, Eric was like, fake brother Eric, or just has brother's heart Eric, was like on the phone and basically said, yeah, I'm going to tell her, but now's not the right time. It's like, well, this seems nefarious. I hope, and honestly, I fucking hope it is nefarious. I hope it's not a bunch of miscommunicated things that is actually not a problem, I hope it actually is evil. It's almost like a wrestling thing, which which we all understand, but where this character is boring to me, the Eric character, he's boring.
Yeah, I'm not.
So turn him heel.
Right, make him bad.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, why has he been crappy this whole time? Oh, because he's been secretly evil.
He's a grifter.
He's a grifter.
He should be a grifter. He shouldn't even have her brother's heart.
He stole it.
Yeah. He murdered her brother.
Yeah, why not?
What's that?
It's actually your heart, Maggie.
I stole your heart. God, what a heel.
Oh, shit.
That would be wonderful.
Your brother gave me his heart, but I'm going to steal yours. Romance-wise.
Man, that's a weird situation. If someone has one of your siblings' organs, you can't date that.
Can't bone.
No,
it's a rule
can't
of this podcast.
do it.
You can't do that.
No,
That's not okay.
we come out against it.
There was a minute where I thought if she got the fellowship and Delilah took all the kids away to Europe, that there'd be like a fun European summer subplot. In the next
2 episodes
season.
of Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
And they could meet up with Ashley, too. Didn't she go to Europe?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because I thought that's how they would bump into Ashley finally.
Amsterdam or something.
Yeah,
Right.
Really party it up. By the way, we just bought tickets to go to see the Cubs in London in June, so we're going to Europe.
Oh, nice. Cubs cards, yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah.
We'll keep an eye out for Ashley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if we see Ashley, we'll holler about it. And speaking of British stuff, Gary also, I just wrote down, big on British props. This is in the beginning of the episode,
Right.
but last episode he built a whole thing, and now
We
he's
should
wearing
have
a
known
hat.
things were going downhill when he showed up in the bobby hat. That was the British police hat. That was not it. Also, I refuse to believe that Gary in real life can't do a good British accent.
Yeah.
And then I wrote that down, and then when he did a flawless Paul Hogan, I was like, yeah, see, that's how good of an actor he is. He acted like he was doing a shitty Scottish accent.
Hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he did Scottish.
Accents are fun. That's my point.
James
with
Roday's
that.
got stuff, and James Roday understands heel turns too. He's a wrestling.
He sure
He's a
does.
mark. Yeah. Also, the last thing on two last things for me on Gary, just the Enid situation. I was just like, well, Enid's nuts, I guess.
I know. I wrote down he's
Great. I love her.
hanging out with the dog lady. It's like, whose dog you stole?
Also,
What the
why?
fuck?
Yeah, end the relationship. This show has a problem with having relationships with people you don't need to talk to.
They
anymore.
must go down the street not looking at anyone, because if they say hello to someone, they'll be in their lives forever.
Right. If they say hello to anyone, they're like, "You're my family now."
You're not, though.
It's like, what the fuck is happening? You guys can just have a friend.
No, that's what I'm saying. I wrote something down about PJ.
I'll trade
Sorry.
Enid for PJ,
Go
by
ahead.
the way.
Yeah, I'll keep Enid.
Yeah, no, I understand PJ got close to these people, but he's like, and I'm not laughing, like, in real life,
Yeah.
people like this exist, but he, like, seems to have gotten way too close, way too fast.
My mom will do this with people sometimes, where she'll just be like, "She's one of the sweetest souls I've ever known." I'm like, "Mom, I've never heard you mention her before. There's no way that's true." Go ahead.
Oh, just like when Rome was saying, you're my family, in the middle of a dramatic scene, but he's like, "You're my family, PJ." And I'm just like, "You're not, though."
No,
but he's
you're
not, though.
No, PJ never got there. He
It's
never
like,
got over
oh,
for me.
Rome, I hope you're just saying that so he doesn't kill himself, because he's not, though. He's not family.
No, he's not
Please
family.
stop.
Let's break it down. Dave, break down PJ's relationship to everyone here, just in bullet points.
Well, PJ to Rome, PJ stole Rome's script in a hospital, correct?
Yes, that's how you become family.
Yeah, and then he said he liked it, so Rome was like, "Oh, okay, we'll be best friends."
Your family. Oh, PJ is family with the psychologist, Maggie. You're not family with your psychologist.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that's actually against the rules.
Yeah, you really can't be.
You're not family with a girl you find attractive, which is Sophie.
Who you thought was your sister till
Right.
the later part of this episode,
Yeah, and
which
then,
would have
like,
been family. But
Good news, they can bang now, but
Yeah.
other than that.
And then you're not family with Gary, who I know Gary thanked him for finding the dog, but I don't think Gary wanted him around. If I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. Even when he found the dog, Gary didn't know his name.
No, well,
Yeah.
because they've been keeping him a secret. Like, Rome and Gina, for good reason, have been sort of keeping him a secret. So it's like,
Yeah.
for Gary and Maggie, they're kind of like, who's this kid again? I mean, Maggie's his therapist, so she
Right.
can't hang out with him. It's it's crazy.
Yeah, for me...
And
Delilah's
Delilah-
not his mom.
Delilah had legit met him like twice before she gave away her husband's watch to this
Yep.
kid. What the fuck?
And even at best, Delilah's relationship to this kid. At best, Delilah's relationship to this kid is that her husband banged someone else and made him. So she doesn't, besides being a friend of a friend, she really has no connection to him. And then turns out, John, as we kind of thought, even after the bombshell, we still thought, no, he's not. The dad, and he's not. So really, he's no one here. I mean, he's a friend of a friend of a friend to, and maybe even one more friend connection to Delilah. So, yeah, nothing there. And it's just, there was just a lot of stuff. Cam Neely got a shout out. Dave is a hockey expert. I thought would appreciate that. Cam Neely, hockey star from our youth. And PJ sold out his real parents immediately.
Oh my God. The stuff about him not having anyone is like, well, screw you, man, because your mom is nice. Your mom is specifically nice. And even if you don't like your fake dad, like, it's not like he's mean to you. He's just like, you're not exactly alike. I'm sorry. Meet everybody's parents.
Yeah. PJ grew up with more parents than I did.
Yeah, dude. It's like you have parents who clearly love you and want to take care of you. It's like, wow. I mean, that was just sort of like surly teen to the max.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want this family. No, I want this dead guy that I've never met to be my dad.
Which dead dad do you want?
He's mad because he didn't get the right dead guy he's never met to be his dad.
Yeah, he was pissed off because there was a different dead dad than the dead dad he thought.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I want it to be the dead dad whose daughter I want to smooch.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
And then when he went back out to Rome in the car, grown man who's just waiting for this teen in a car, because he met him several times. He said, and I don't even fully remember what this is in reference to, but PJ said, "I need to do this myself." And I was like, starting when? What the fuck have you ever done yourself? You've just glommed on to this whole group this whole time. It was so weird.
I need to storm into my house and yell, "You are not my dad."
Yeah.
By myself.
PJ never got there for me.
No.
Yeah.
Can't.
Conversely, Kevin, I know you can't stand Jason.
I love this though.
I love him.
And I hear great things about Jason Ritter as a guy, and I have no problems with him as an actor. The character, I have big problems with. But if you don't, I like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he shouldn't be around, but I'm waiting to see what this bombshell is. If it's something convoluted and great, I'm going to dig it even more.
Yeah. Oh no. If he turns heel, I'm into it. I want him to go full bad guy now, because otherwise, I'm just like, honestly, that would explain why he's been lingering around a little bit. Because otherwise, it just seems like this guy has no life. We talked about this before on previous episodes, where why would this guy... It's weird enough that Maggie is that into him, but why would this guy linger around this family that he has no connection to besides having a donated heart?
And I don't buy his fiancée dying. I think she's still alive.
There we go. Yeah, another fake death thing. Like, what's his name, Andrew?
Yeah, forget about that.
That is the guy I can't stand.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. The last thing I forgot about Gary, just a quote. He said, "I can't believe any of you would do any of this," which I thought was a good summation of everything when, I don't know, it was a Delilah or someone said, I can't believe you would do this. And he was just like, I can't believe any of you would have done any of this that brought any of this here.
His basic, says like, this is not the someday quote that John imagined, that I imagined, and then yells, "So clean it up," and walks out the door. I was like, that's great. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I brought you all here today to tell you that you've all been acting like a bunch of wieners, and you should unwiener yourselves post-haste. Gary out.
Yeah. No, that's a great call together and summation. Mm-hmm. All right. Who we to now? Any more PJ points?
Well, I mean, basically at the end, it's just like, obviously PJ is going to jump off a building because the wrong dead guy.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Well, we mentioned it, but just to be clear, he's up on the roof and he's talking about, now I'm like, how did he even get to that?
That's a thought I had was he didn't even earn the suicide for me. Which honestly, you don't have to. Sometimes people surprise you and just get there. That is a thing. That is a part of life.
Sure.
But I had to I was distracted during him going to the edge of the building because I was thinking about why is he sad? It's that his dad's not his dad, but he still had a dad the whole time. So just his biological dad is someone different. This does not seem to be enough.
Yeah, it's
like everything with PJ. It didn't earn it for me.
Right. And Rome has a great scene. Technically, I will just say I feel like the music was very loud while Rome was talking. And
hard to hear, yeah.
Should have turned it down just a smidge.
And I still think Against All Odds is weird.
And, yeah, I mean, what else is it? Oh, yeah, I just wrote down that, like, basically when they get back in, PJ's parents have to, explain to him why, like, what the whole situation is. And they're telling him how they met, like, at Ground Zero. And it's like, have you never even told him how you met before? What have you been...
Yeah, that...
What have you been telling him? It's like, all right, now he does have a point if, like, has literally everything you've... Is this a Theo situation where you've never told him the truth his entire life?
That has nothing to do with the secrets. You should just tell him how you met.
Yeah, that could have been anything. So that was kind of like...
Right.
That was a little bit crazy. And then... As they're doing that, basically every move that PJ makes and every time he yells at his parents, there's Delilah in the background watching like it's a suicide carol, and this is Ghost of Suicide Future.
Oh, sure.
And she's just like, oh, I see. If I lie to my child forever, and then when they eventually find out that I lied to them about who their father is, then this will happen. Exactly.
Do you know who my father is? This is a real question. Yeah.
And if so, please tell me.
Yeah. All right. So, Dave, who do you want to go to next? Rome, Gina, Eddie? What are you feeling?
Well, I was going to bring up...
Or anything.
Theo. I was going to bring up Theo only because it would get us into the Eddie Catherine stuff.
Sure.
I thought Theo got too much airtime at the end when they were panning in on his face when Sophie was destroying the guitars. Obviously, I get it. He has questions why it's just happening.
Right.
But that leads us into, like, the Eddie Catherine stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Theo guy, but I don't know if you caught at the end Theo's face in horror when Sophie was destroying the guitars.
Oh, yeah, that's like the last thing in the episode.
Yeah,
basically.
that's almost the parting shot.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Eddie Catherine thing, Kevin, you brought up about strong storylines this season. Yeah, I mean, I really thought that has been the strongest, which going back to last season, I kind of dislike both characters.
Yeah.
And I find myself liking them.
Yeah, I disliked Catherine at the very beginning, which I think most people did, and then she turned, and then Eddie wienered out for the bulk of this series, but then has been better lately. I thought they weren't super great today.
Well, yeah, not super great.
They didn't have a lot to do. They were in briefly.
I thought it was well done where I'm with Brian, their lawyer, who came in and who basically was just like, when they're like, oh yeah, it is still a custody thing, but it's a different kid with a different woman. It's like, well, he should be confused because y'all's shits is fucked up.
They have their cute little infidelity explanation shtick.
Yeah, I just
and
wrote.
He's just like, huh?
Yeah. And Brian just, every time we see that lawyer guy appear, he's just like, wait, now hold up, what? Glug, glug, But yeah, also just wrote that them asking Gary basically to be their go-between is pretty selfish.
Yeah.
And like the asking friends to get between friends on behalf of you, who's also in the friend group, is a little effed up if you ask me.
Right. It seems like a thing that wouldn't work.
I found a tidbit, too, that kind of went under the radar a little bit. Regina wanting to adopt now.
Yeah, that basically, I guess Rome and Gina don't really have a ton this episode.
That's true. We can wrap that up if we're doing the complicated gray area relationships. The flip side, where it turns out nice, is Rome and Gina this episode.
I did, because before I was into their storyline, almost how I'm into Gary Maggie now, that they were telling sort of a realistic sad story in a small but but good way. But I do think I get it from a TV show. Something's got to be happy. So so I am cool with this, and that basically Gina decides I'm willing to have a kid, but like to adopt. She's not going to physically, have like give birth. So that's a negotiation, and Rome seems super into it. So that's nice.
It's a little bit all of a sudden.
It is.
It's like, oh, I saw you be strong and confident once, and now I think you're ready to be a dad. And it's like, I mean, but on the other hand, I'm not mad at it. Like, you see him,
right?
He has. You could say he's been dadding PJ, although really he's been best friending PJ, which is different.
It's weirder, yeah.
But it's weirder. But yeah. But I believe it, and I'm happy for them. There should be something happy. If you're gonna split up Maggie and Gary, then for gosh sakes, give Rome a baby already. I
think, and just from a storytelling on the show perspective, Rome with a baby is, you can get episodes out of that. That can be a new storyline going forward.
Yeah.
And the adoption process too, you can get a lot out of, I think.
True.
So I think that thumbs up in general on that, I think.
Ooh, I bet it'll come up that he tried to kill himself.
Ooh, and make it harder to get a baby.
Yeah,
good call.
Yeah. Depression in the background, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, the good catch there, Dave. Yeah, because it was just sort of in the montage for 40 seconds or so, probably.
Yeah. Gina also, I think, had a good line during the whole Gary thing when Delilah's being mean to everyone, especially her. And Gina says, hey, you had the affair, you had the kid, and now you're mad at anyone who doesn't share your opinion. I'm like, yes! Mm-hmm. Go off,
yeah,
Gina.
Gina didn't get a lot of words in this episode, but that was a good summation of a situation. And I the only thing I had left that I hadn't crossed out yet on my notes was literally just Gina not treated well by Delilah. Going on 3 or 4 episodes in a row now where Delilah's just cocky and mean. Because Gina's done what? I mean, I guess she's mad that Gina didn't tell about the DNA test right away. But it's also like, you're still keeping the secret, Delilah.
Yeah, we got the DNA test and then Rome's mom died. Like, I'm sorry, we didn't find a minute to do this. Yeah. But yeah, Delilah is especially shitty to Rome and Gina, saying like, oh, so it's okay when you guys keep a secret. It's like, we didn't though. But we weren't gonna.
We've had a day.
We kept a secret for a minute.
Yeah.
Rome is best friends with a teenager. Deal with it.
Yeah, we got weird stuff going on. I also wrote down #bury PJ, but we've sort of all also basically been talking about that. Hopefully that's done, but maybe he's going to be around. Yeah. Any other notes? Any other beats, bullet points that we missed covering?
Let's see. I mean, I think, Enid day drinks, so that's fun.
Sure.
Oh, thank you. Yes. That's I have down, son of a gun. Oh, yeah, Gary, just unintentionally day drinking. I wrote down my guy.
That is your guy, for sure. Dave, you like a day drink and you like drinking on off days.
Yeah, so if I had to choose...
Rank the drinking days.
I would do a Thursday night and a Sunday during the day for football. So that's kind of my fall thing. Because, like, when I do the college football stuff, I have to wake up early on Saturday, so I don't do much on Friday.
Dave is a college football writer, yeah.
So, yes, fall, Thursday, Sunday. Summertime, I like a nice Saturday afternoon, like when the Cubs – well, now I work at Wrigley, but, like, say I'm not working that day.
Yeah.
When the Cubs are at home, that 3 o'clock in Wrigleyville – to get the day going. It's great.
It's a good speed. It's a good speed. Good time. And so Enid's down. That's good.
Yeah, Enid can hang. We'll have Enid on the show. We'll do a day episode and drink with her.
Oh, that'd be great. Day drinking with the actress who plays Enid. That'd be wonderful.
And I feel like the day drinking explains the moment where she's like, hey, by the way, this isn't my dog, but it's fine. And I was like, well, I mean, is it though? But yeah. I mean, it's nice that you like this dog. And then it's like, oh, she's drunk. All right.
Right. And Gary can't hang out with her anymore because otherwise she's going to find out he still has that dog.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you guys
gotta-
can't
gotta
be
cut
friends.
bait.
She'll come to your house and...
You can't be lifelong friends with everyone you've ever seen.
Yeah, you got to stop, man. I would love to see the transition of him losing his job and then showing up to Enid's house and be like, hey, I got about 9 hours to kill. Do you mind if I just... And he was taking down the Christmas lights for it.
That's very
like,
nice.
Which is a thing.
Yeah, very nice. Gary feels a lot of loyalty and obligation beyond what everyone else does. Gary is the best person on this show. And this was a good episode for him in at least two ways, as we said. I think for me, that's the highlight of this fall season finale.
Yes.
Gary bringing all the friends together, laying it all out there, laying out who he's been, and everyone's deal with each other, and being like, "I'm keeping us together. Can you guys, or is this not worth it?" You know. And then him and Maggie. I thought that was maybe the best. The best and most complex and realistic scene and sequence that I've seen on this show was Gary and Maggie there.
Because it doesn't make sense in a good way.
Yeah, it doesn't make it
In a real way.
Right, it doesn't make sense and does make sense. Yeah. So that's hard to do in a clear way, and the actors and the writers all did a very good job there. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. There's a lot of stuff in this episode.
If not anything else on this episode, anything from this half season, since this is the half season, any parting thoughts about this half season? How it's different from the first season in any way? Any different feelings about the show?
Gosh, where there's a whole lot more PJ and a whole lot less Danny. I guess that's a fresh take that maybe...
Even Sophie, I forgot Sophie's name. Like, it took me like 10, 15 seconds to remember it.
Yeah, Sophie going nuts in it, because for a second
That's true. We forgot to... I mean, we sort of mentioned it, but the end is that, you know, so you see Sophie and Danny finding out, sort of, in a montage, and then they just both run away in slow-mo.
Yeah.
When Delilah finally tells them what's up with Charlie. And then we see, after we had gotten Dave's text that said this show is... what was
Sick.
it? Sick. Right. So Eddie and Catherine are about to tell Theo about Charlie, and then they hear a noise in the garage, and Eddie's like, let me go check that out. I was like, is someone going to shoot Eddie?
I know, I thought Eddie might be dead.
Are they starting... Yeah, are they going to go freaking crazy at the end here? And then it's Sophie in the garage, and she's smashing all his guitars because she's mad because he boned her mom and had a kid. And I'm like, you know what? This checks the heck out. This makes a lot of sense.
Who doesn't hate it when someone bones your mom and has a kid?
And then they all just stand around and watch her while she like smashes guitars and makes eye contact with Eddie.
It's a pretty rock and roll way to rebel.
It sure is.
Real The Who situation going on.
Yep. And luckily Eddie doesn't really tour, so he doesn't actually need all those guitars.
No, Eddie's
so
not
fine.
actually... Yeah, he doesn't tour.
And Theo is oddly quiet and just watches, and yeah, it's sort of like a zoom in Theo's face, and then the end.
Right, and of all the kids having problems, Theo's got the least problems here, because the news is, all right, so you're still my parents.
And you have a new little sister, and he already is obsessed with that baby.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So it's just, he's probably psyched. That's half his kid. And Theo thinks about the world in an untraditional way, so that makes sense.
And he wanted a baby. He was upset that his mom didn't want another baby.
Yeah, that's true. So there you go.
Surprise, you got one.
Theo always gets what he wants.
It really all comes down to Theo and his dreams.
All right, parting thoughts, parting shots. Let's close this up. Dave, anything on the way out?
No, I will say Thursday, January 23rd, though. That's a long time to wait.
Good call, though. That is a great... I did not know that was when it came back. So that is a good piece of news to break here.
It's my friend Crystal's birthday. I'll remember it.
Thursday, January 23rd. Where am I in the country at that point? I guess I can find out.
In the country is Kevin McCaffrey.
In theory, I think I'm here. I think I'm in Brooklyn 2 days before. There's a chance I'd be in South Carolina that weekend, but I think I'm here.
Fingers crossed.
Jamie, any thoughts as we head out?
No, it almost seems like a whole season since this half season started. I feel like a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah, nice. So nice going show on that part.
Nice going show.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I hope next half season we get to see Grease.
Yeah, let's see Grease.
I hope it pays off.
Bring back Danny. Thanks for listening, everybody. Follow us at A Million Podcast on Twitter, A Million Little Podcast on Instagram, and we will see you January. Well, you'll hear from us January 23rd, and maybe beforehand if we do some special interview episodes or something.
Ooh.
But yeah, thanks for doing 9 more with us, and we'll see you in January.
Bye. A million little bye. Shoot.
You got it.